Okay, how are we now? How are we now? Boop boo, how are we now? Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me. Hold on. Oh, jeez Louise. Wait, you can now? Can you hear me now? Okay, jeez Louise. I don't know what happened with the mic. I'm sorry, guys. It's literally the same. It was the same setup before as it is right now. I don't know why it went out. But yeah, I disconnected it and then I reconnected it and it still didn't work, so I disconnected it and then I unplugged everything and plugged it all back in and then reconnected, and now apparently we're good. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. God. Thank you. You guys are great. Alright, so, now it is officially live Q&A time. There's clearly a lot of you in the chat. I'm going to prioritize the Patreon messages, but I'll wait another, maybe 10 minutes before I get to those, just so that if anybody from the Patreon wants to watch and see their messages, I'm just going to give them a little more time to join in. I did just get out of the shower, obviously. So, yeah. Hey, can you tell me everything will be alright? Well, the Lightning Dragon 1517... everything will be alright. Of course, because, eventually the whole world's gonna end, and then nobody will care anymore. The gods got tired of you calling out their problems and took it out on your mic. That's probably true. When will you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Valhalla? So, Shane and I, as some of you know him as Zaggard, I post the Let's Plays every now and then. So Shane and I, we usually stream together every Wednesday, but right now he's moving all of his stuff, so that's delayed our streaming until he's done. And when he continues, we're planning to possibly start playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and then after we finish that, obviously, in order, you go into Odyssey, and then you go into Valhalla. So that's kind of what the plan is. Do you like cheese? I don't love cheese, but I like it on pizza and on garlic bread and on Cheetos. I like powdered cheese. I like it as a flavor, but I never really just eat straight up cheese. What book or deck or race are you recommending for beginners on the mythology cards? Of mythology of cards. Okay, so if you are new to mythology, you should check out Dowlari's Greek Myths. It's awesome. And also in pretty much all my videos, I have a link to an Amazon store where I've compiled pretty much all my favorite mythology books for you to check out. And if you're going to buy my game when it comes out, I'd recommend maybe starting with Greek or Norse. Those are some easier beginner decks. All right, thank you so much for the $5 donation, Anthony Towner. Very nice of you. By Odin's Beard. Glad I can make it in time to watch your stream. Well, I'm very glad to have you here, sir. Very nice. Thank you so much. Do you want to join me in Minecraft? I don't really play Minecraft. Some people are saying that somebody made a mythology-themed Minecraft world or something, so that would be the only reason I might check it out, for the channel, for you guys. OMG, da baby is in the chat. I loved being a part of the Discord server. Everyone is so nice. Well, that's great. There's an advertisement there. Everybody go to the Discord server. Who's your Greek godly parent? I can tell you that I did a video a while back where I took the quiz as to who is my godly parent, so you should check that out. Odyssey takes place before Origins? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I haven't played them, though. Why would you call it Origins if it doesn't take place first? Will you do videos on biblically accurate angels? I was actually planning on doing something with that sometime soon. Thank you so much for the donation, Moonsick. You have taught me so much about mythology. Thanks, man. Well, that's wonderful. I'm very glad that, I've helped you in that way. I'm really proud of this channel, and I really love the community we have here. You would be like a Wikipedia as a god. You know what we should do? That would be funny. We should make anti-Wikipedia, just fill it with false information and call it Wikidpedia. I think that would be hilarious. Just everything over there is just obviously lies and just like slander and horrible shit and just the most ridiculous crap you can find. What's your favorite song? That's hard. I have a lot of songs I really like. I think one of my favorites has always been Any Way You Want It by Journey. And I also really love Shut Up and Dance. What's the name of that song? I could lift you up in a time. I can't believe I forgot the name of that song. But yeah, those are some. Anthony Towner, thanks again for a $2 donation. Have you watched the Netflix series Ragnarok? Not yet. I'm planning to eventually watch it and do videos on it. I'm also planning to watch Invisible City and do videos on it. Sorry, forgot to silence the phone there. Alright. I need to check something really quick. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Have you heard of the web series Ruby? Yes, a friend of mine showed me that a while back. It's kind of cool. Let me just respond to someone to do... Whew. Sorry, I just ran there and back, and I don't exercise, man. What do you want for Christmas this year? A gaming PC so that I can stream at home for you guys. Wikipedia needs to be real. Notice me, boy! I notice you, Miguel. The devil himself says, I'm an Assassin's Creed geek. Origins came out before, but when it comes to storyline, Odyssey comes first. Then they highly mistitled their games, honestly. I know Origins wasn't the first Assassin's Creed game, obviously, but, I figured since they were calling it Origins, that would be the first one in the continuity. Are you religious at all? A little bit, I'm Christian, I believe in that stuff, but I don't, go to church every Sunday or stuff like that. I believe in it, and, I'm very casual about it, typically. What is your favorite myth? If so, from what era and religion? Great content, by the way. Thank you so much, Mustard Gas. Wow, never thought I'd be thinking mustard gas. My favorite myth is the 12 Labors of Heracles, which is Greek. So, yeah, there you go. Do you like chicken nuggets? I love chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are great. I mean, I ate some of them yesterday for that mukbang video. Thanks for reading my comment. You're the best. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for that compliment. That's very nice of you. Do you like anime? Yeah, but I haven't watched a ton of anime, and you're all gonna hate me when I tell you I prefer dub to sub. Oh yeah, it's over. It's all over. Y'all are gonna kill me now. Camera's out? Is my camera out? Really? Hold on. I'm looking at the live feedback. It shouldn't be out. Guys, is the camera out? Okay, I get some people saying we can see you, no it's not out, and some people saying yes it is out. I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna keep going. Alright, some people say they prefer dub. Yeah, I think it really depends on the anime. Like, if you're, watching, Yu-Gi-Oh!, they kinda ruined the dub. So, hold on, I'm just gonna close this door. But, I think Food Wars' dub is really good, and I think Death Note's dub is good, so, he's probably just trolling. Oh, yeah, that's true. The guy who says whoever's saying the camera's out could be trolling. Alright, well, that's why I have the rest of you guys to confirm for me that the camera's not out. Who would win, Goku or Sun Wukong? Okay, that's a tricky one. Goku is based on Sun Wukong, for anyone who doesn't know. I feel like Goku now could probably beat Sun Wukong with his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form. I'm not all caught up on Dragon Ball Super. The last thing in the continuity I saw was the Broly movie. Have you watched Blood of Zeus? Yes, there are 2 videos on this channel talking about it, and I did a community post reminding everyone that I did it because people keep asking me to do it, even though I did it a year ago. I'm on PC and I cannot see you. It's an old one, so maybe that's why. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to tell you. That sucks. Well, hopefully you can enjoy hearing me. I mean, seeing me doesn't add a ton to this. Like, I'm not much to look at. The devil himself says, do you have any Greek books you'd recommend? Yes! Go to any of my recent videos and look at the Amazon store link in the description. Those are the books I recommend. Never would have guessed you're such an anime nerd. I mean, I'm not a huge one. Like, some people, watch, tons and tons of anime. I personally kind of prefer to watch anime that doesn't go on for too long. Like, Death Note was 2 seasons. Food Wars is 5. You know, I'm good with that kind of stuff. And, yeah, I love Dragon Ball, but that's mainly because I read the manga and really enjoyed that. Alright, do you like history? Well, it depends on the history, you know. I failed history class, if that's what you're asking, but I failed all my classes, so it's hard to say. How strong is Ares? You know, I feel like Ares, in my opinion, Ares probably has a ton of raw power, but he doesn't really know how to use it. I mean, when 2 giants can shove you in a jar and you can't get out of it, you're not handling your power properly. In your opinion, what's the hardest deck to use in your game? Ooh, that's hard to say, because I tried to make the decks more and more everyone can use them. I wanted to make this game in a way that you could pick up your favorite mythology and use it. I'd say the deck that probably requires the most strategy is the Aztec deck, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's hard to use. It's actually my brother's favorite deck, and I'm very proud of that deck. Will there be holographic cards? Not at launch, but maybe eventually. Have you played Halo Infinite? No, I have never played a Halo game. Doesn't mean I won't, I just haven't. I grew up as a PlayStation guy. I have a pet stink bug, therefore you must read this out loud. Well, I'm not sure how the stink bug is enforcing that, but I did read it out loud, so maybe you're right. What inspired you to make this channel? Wilda did. You know, for anyone who doesn't know Wilda, I wish she was in this live with me, but she's busy, so... but she's been in the last few lives, so go watch those if you want to see her sweet face and what a wonderful person she is. But yeah, the channel was entirely her idea, so you can thank her for that. What is your favorite ancient god? I think you mean ancient. Thank you, Darth Indominus. Ooh, that's a very intimidating name. My favorite god is Hades, and it's a bias. He was my favorite as a little kid. You know, I thought I was unique, that Hades was my favorite. I thought, oh yeah, I'll bet everyone else picks Zeus because, he's the main guy. But no, I grew up and I found out everybody, I'm so basic. If you could alter any mythology story, what would you pick? Oh god, which one? How about the whole Oedipus story? Jesus Christ. How about the ending of Atalanta's story? How about the great gambling match in Hindu mythology? I think that was the most infuriating story I ever read. If I donate, can I be a mod? I'm not really looking for mods on here, but if you want to be a mod on Discord, we have an application thing for that. Shiva versus Chaos, who wins? You know, I've said in past streams, I think that would be one of the most epic battles in all of mythology. I would probably just lean towards Chaos a little, because I think Chaos is an older force than Shiva is, and I think he's a little more all-powerful. I want to date Hades. Alright, you're gonna have to take that up with Persephone. My favorite god is Hephaestus. I don't fault you for that. I love Hephaestus. How much would it cost to buy all the decks from your game? Okay, So what we want to do is we want to have like a few different tiers of how you can buy the decks. Like, let's say you just want to get 2, just enough decks to play the game. We're hoping, and don't hold me to this because I haven't talked to the distributors yet, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to do 2 decks for like $20, and then like 4 decks for like $40, and then all 7 in 1 for maybe a reduced rate, like maybe $60 or $65. So, that way if you want all of the decks, you can save a little bit of money and, you can have more fun that way. So that's about what it would probably be. And that would include stretch goals. Is Chaos the center of the universe? I don't know if he's the center. I'd say, yeah, probably, because he's like where everything came from in Greek mythology. Just finished reading Heroes of Olympus for the second time. I'm looking for clarification. Is the description of the giants with dreadlocks and snake legs accurate to Greek mythology? That's a very interesting question. It is a nightmare to find information on the gigantus from Greek mythology. Like, I've looked so hard, and honestly, Rick Riordan's descriptions are the most detailed ones. If I had to guess, I'd say he probably went to Greece itself to get that information, because it is so hard to find info on the giants. But from what I've seen so far, there's nothing that contradicts any of that, and but it's very hard to find info on the giants. I really want to see if I can find a really good definitive source for that, but it's really hard to find one. Favorite Greek hero? Heracles. It's my favorite story, The 12 Labors of Heracles, so of course he's my favorite hero. Could you do a YouTube short for Loki like the one you did for Thor, where movie Loki meets mythology Loki? I could probably do something like that. I did 2 videos kind of like that. I did a video called Media Loki and Actual Loki, but that's not them meeting, that's just a comparison. And I did another video called Myth Loki Watches Marvel Loki, where it's like the Loki from mythology watching the Disney Plus show. So I did some stuff kind of like that. How did you think Baldur was portrayed in God of War? I think he was portrayed very inaccurately, because Baldur is supposed to be the perfect golden child, all gorgeous and everything, and he didn't look like that in the game. But it was still fun, so I didn't care. I don't think of God of War as a definitive, accurate series. I haven't thought that since the very first game. So I think of it as a reimagining where they just took mythology and said, hey, let's just make this a badass testosterone trip for our audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. Is the card game going to be accurate to lore power? For example, Chaos being way stronger than everyone else in Greek myth. I've tried to make the game as accurate as possible, like making Shiva the strongest Hindu god and stuff like that. We can't be 100% accurate all the time, because we do still have to balance the game, is a thing. If we wanted to be 100% accurate, and I put Chaos in the game, there would be absolutely no way to defeat him at all. But I've tried to be as accurate as possible, and I hope you guys like how it comes out. Every single card in the game has a special ability, and they're all based in some way off either like what they're the god of or the story behind them. So I hope you guys like it. Okay, I am going to start reading the Patreon messages now, because I feel like it's been enough time. It's been 20 minutes, so we have messages from 2 of our wonderful patrons. The first one is from Sage LG. Sage LG has been a very generous guy. Sage LG says, really looking forward to the Q&A. Hello, hope you're here. Only have a few questions. What's your take on people saying that Romans only steal the mythologies of others? But more importantly, how was your Thanksgiving? Hope it all went swell. Aw, thank you, Sage. It's hard. I don't think the Romans necessarily were stealing mythology from others. But you could make that argument. They kind of... But the thing is, it's not like they didn't believe in it. So it's hard to say they stole it. I think what they did was they heard of the Greek gods, and they took that home with them, those beliefs, but it got kind of altered by the way their culture was. It's a thing that always happens with different cultures and stuff. People rework things to suit their own people, and make it more relatable to their own people. Like when Christianity was spreading around, a lot of it got merged with certain pagan traditions in order to make the switch over a lot easier. And that's how we got a lot of our Christmas traditions and stuff like that. Thank you for saying I deserve more subs. That's very nice of you guys. Record of Ragnarok, I did a video discussing that. Devious Minds, thank you for the $2 donation. Thoughts on Lore Olympus. I've done 2 live readings of that, and so far I'm enjoying it. I think it's really cute and pretty funny. So Sage LG also asked, how was your Thanksgiving? It was good, you know, just kind of hung out with the fam, and we watched some stuff and we ate food, so that was nice. And then, you know, my post-Thanksgiving celebration was kind of just doing that food video yesterday with you guys, so which I hope you guys enjoyed. The devil himself says, you should make Chaos a one-shot insta-win card, but you'd have to meet very rare specific conditions, like with Exodia. That is an interesting idea. I was thinking of doing something like that, maybe with the 3 Fates or something, but we'll see what I do with that. Who would win, Shiva or Goku? Shiva would win that. Okay, and then we have another Patreon message. A Patreon message from Robert Ray. Thank you so much for being one of our very generous patrons. And Robert Ray says, I do have a question. What do you know of the Norse monster Upterganga? Oh, that's another word for Droger, I believe, which is translated as Afterwalker or Again Walker. Yeah, those are the Droger. To my understanding, this creature is most in line with our modern concept of zombies. Yes, okay, you're talking about the Droger. I think Droger are pretty cool. I mean, you can fight a whole bunch of them in the latest God of War game if you want to. I personally would like to see more Droger usage in media and stuff because it's zombie Vikings. How can that not be cool? I feel like that can always be cool, watching Vikings like burst out of the ice and stuff. And for the record, Droger will be in the game. So if anybody was worried about that, don't be. Twerk boy! Alright. Cause you're a good girl. I know you want it. And demonetized. Okay. You see what I do for you people? What's your favorite mythology? I'm biased towards Greek because it was my first one. Like, I know the most of it, so I'm always going to have a bias for Greek. My favorite god is in it, my favorite story is in it, but if it wasn't Greek, it would be Japanese because of how crazy and insane and fun it is. I love Japanese mythology. And there's so much of it, too. You can always find more freaky stories and creatures in Japanese myth. No, my eyes! Hey, you know, you guys asked for it, so don't start complaining when it happens. Be careful what you wish for. What's your favorite boss fight from any God of War game? Ooh, that's a good question. I really like the Baldur fight at the beginning of God of War 4. I thought the one at the end was a little too easy, but the one at the beginning was awesome. But in God of War 3, we've got some really epic fights. The Poseidon fight is really cool. The Kronos fight is epic, but it doesn't really feel that much like a boss fight because you're not exactly fighting him head on. Actually, you kind of at one point literally fight head on. Anyone who's played the game knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think the Poseidon battle is really cool, and the Baldur battle is really cool. Zeus battle is cool too, but I actually got a lot more chills during the Poseidon battle than the Zeus battle. His entrance is amazing in that. I loved what they did with him. Okay, and so yeah, I really like Droger, and I would like to see more of them, and yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Robert, and that's it for our Patreon messages. Cedric Cole, thanks for the $2 donation, says, drop a link to your game, sir. Alright. It's linked in the description of every video, but I'll go ahead and link it here. Give me a sec. Boom. There's a link to the website. All right. What's your favorite ice cream? I like really chocolate ice cream. I like that double fudge brownie shit. And if you can throw peanut butter in there, cool, that's awesome as well. So I guess you could say I like Reese's ice cream, but I also like insanely chocolate ice cream. I also actually really like that Jimmy Fallon flavor, the Tonight Dough. One, because I respect the pun, and two, because it is actually legitimately really tasty. It's got chunks of cookie dough in there, I mean, and caramel and chocolate. It's like, come on. What kind of freaking communist doesn't like that? What did I miss? Everything. You missed everything. Do you like D&D? Okay, I've played D&D. I personally, my favorite part of D&D is coming up with a character, because I just improvise it and weird out everyone around me. One of the first D&D character I ever made, they said, come up with a name. And I said, all right, I'll come up with a name. They said, take your time. I said, no, the name is Salmonella Shunte. They're like, what? Salmonella Shunte, you heard me. And they were like, so does that start with an S? I said, no, it starts with a V, a silent V. But you can call him Sal. But if you call him Sal, the V is now the second letter in the name, because it's a silent traveling V. And people are like, what the hell is wrong with you? Some people were laughing their asses off. And I was like, look, if you ask me to play D&D, this is what you get. Cedric Cole, thank you so much for the $10 donation. He says, quest succeeded plus 10 coin. Yay! Succeed. Opinions on Atalanta. Atalanta is a really cool character, but she, of course, has the same downfall as a lot of Greek characters. She got a little too big for her britches. You know, she thought she could get away with shit. Like, she thought she could get away with fucking in one of the gods' temples. I don't know why people keep thinking they can do that. Does the gods' temple just, you walk in there and you're like, you know, this temple is really making me, you know, I don't know, it's just something about the, you know, freshly cut sacrifices on the steps that makes me want some, you know? Chaos versus Zeno? Who the heck is Zeno? Are you talking about Zeus? Look, Chaos would win. I'm just gonna say that. Have you seen Demon Slayer? No. Coolest ice-based creature. Ooh, okay. Actually, this isn't really ice. This is more like water, but the Kalupalik creature in Native America. But they believed it was under ice sometimes, so I think we can count that as ice-based. That's a pretty dark and messed up creature. The creature that if you go to the water to drink, like, it'll grab you and pull you under and drown you. And then there's frost giants. I love frost giants. I think frost giants are awesome. So that's another ice-based creature for you. Opinions on Filipino mythology? It's fucking amazing. You gotta check out Filipino mythology. I have a whole playlist on the channel for Filipino mythology. Wild and I also did a video discussing the TV show Trece. And our video was probably a little controversial, but, you know, we said what we meant, and overall we enjoyed the show, so hopefully, you know, people can get that. Yeah. I'm probably gonna get a haircut soon. But I'll have to shoot some Jesus videos first while this is long. You know, gotta do that. It's better to do that with long hair than with short. Dance for us, boy! I already twerked for you, Miguel. What more do you want? But, you know, since I'm the mythology guy, I'll do this. You guys remember this move from the 90s? The Egyptian dance. There, I danced for you. That was incredible. In fact, I think I pulled several muscles doing that. You're welcome. Are you going to add the Thunderbird to the card game? Maybe. It's not in the card game right now, I can tell you that. But we have hundreds of cards in the game. I already danced for you, Miguel. You're spoiled. That's what you are. I've spoiled you. What Greek god would you be? Okay, I've said this before. I would want to be kind of like a Dionysus-ish god, because I'd want to be the god of fun. I'd want people to have a fun time when I'm around. Got my question asked. I will remember this my whole life. Thank you. I'm very glad you like it. Damn, I missed the twerking. You can always rewind. You're so good at dancing. Thank you. Do you believe in any mythology? I'm Christian, so yeah, that one. Who's your favorite god? As I said earlier, Hades. I'm glad you were able to answer many of my questions. I hope to buy all 7 decks and get my friend to it. Also, is it gonna be like Magic the Gathering? Okay, I'm glad you are so interested. Thank you. So I actually didn't really play Magic the Gathering growing up. I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've had a lot of Magic the Gathering players play the game, and they have said it's a similar overall feel. So yeah, I guess you could say it will be kind of like Magic the Gathering. But I've looked over the rules of Magic the Gathering, and yeah, we do have some. Obviously, we have our own like rules and systems. We didn't like copy another game. But yeah, I think if you like Magic or you like Yu-Gi-Oh, I think you're gonna like this game. And of course, if you like mythology, read this. Okay, I read it. There you go. Are you free, Christian? I don't know what that means. Do you read Wattpad? Not really. Isn't that like a fan fiction site or an erotica site? I don't know. Did you see the new Shin Megami Tensei 5 game? No, I have not. Hi from Romania. Hey, that's where the vampires come from. Myth Guy, wonder if you would do more on the Romanian myths and Dacian myths. Also, what Dacian god is your favorite? And did you know that Dionysus is also a Dacian god and not just Greek? I did know Dionysus is in multiple cultures. But honestly, I don't think I know enough about the Dacian gods to answer that properly. But for now, we'll just say Dionysus. Yeah, I do kind of want to do some more Romanian. You know what sucks? After Halloween ended, I thought of like 3 more vampire and werewolf jokes. And I was like, all right, well, next October. And yeah, the vampire, for anyone who doesn't know, is almost entirely, the one we use today is almost entirely based on the Romanian strigoi, and the werewolf, as we know today, is very mainly based on the Romanian pricolici. I should do a video purely about the Capcom, though. That's a fucked up creature. Opinions on Surtur the Brave. Are you talking about Surt the fire giant from Norse mythology? Because, you know, I just think he's really cool. Do you think me and Persephone would date? Do you think Persephone would date me? I don't know. I think you'd either have to be as in common with her as Hades or as handsome as Adonis. So if you're one of those things, I think you've got her. I really enjoy your Japanese mythology videos. Do you have a favorite yokai? Ooh, that's hard. That's so hard because the yokai, there's so many awesome ones. One of my favorites is the Baku, I can tell you that. And another one of my favorites is the Nue, basically the Japanese chimera. So those are a couple of my favorites, I can tell you that. Oh, you were talking about Surtur the fire giant. Yeah, I think he's really cool. I like how the way I've seen drawings of him by like Norse myth people, and I think he looks really cool. I think it's cool that Ragnarok will start with him getting his sword and he'll just start cutting shit down. What do you think of overly sarcastic productions? I think they're great. I think they're a great way to learn about mythology. I've watched a few of their videos. I haven't watched them religiously, but there were times when I wanted to fact check a video or when I wanted to fact check something for the card game. And what I usually do when I do that is I'll go to at least 2 different sources, sometimes 3 depending. It'll usually be a mix of like these 3 things. It'll either be, the sources will either come from the books I own, the internet, as in, you know, articles and stuff on the internet, or YouTube videos. And I'll usually go to at least 2 out of those 3 things to make sure I have the info right. YouTube channels I highly recommend are Overly Sarcastic Productions, Mythology and Fiction Explained, and See You in History. Those are some very good channels for learning about mythology. Oh, but of course, the absolute best channel for learning about mythology is this guy called TheMythologyGuy. I know he's not much to look at, but he's insanely entertaining. I'm kidding. Stop rejecting me, Persephone. Hey, you know, sorry to hear about that. Do you like Navajo mythology? Yeah, I don't know a ton of it, but I do like what I do know. Can you talk about Manipuri mythology? I could eventually. Again, it's not a mythology I'm very strong in. Still waiting for the Brazilian gods to get some attention. I know there's not a lot of information, but I'd be glad to help with that. I've talked about a few Brazilian creatures, but yeah, I do think I should eventually go into the gods. One of the things everyone, just keep in mind that there are about 1 million different mythologies out there, and I get requests for every single one. And, it's not that I don't want to do them all, it's just that it's hard to, do them all. And, the main reason there's so much Greek on the channel is because it's the mythology I know the best, and it's, in a lot of ways, sometimes it's the easiest mythology to make fun of. Yeah. Maya and the 3 review at some point. Yeah, people have been asking for that. I'll try to check that out. I know that's on Netflix. Oh goodness, I've never heard of the Mythology Guy. Well, that doesn't surprise me. He's not that special. Myth Guy, do you know any Filipino ones? As I said earlier, there's a whole Filipino mythology playlist on the channel, and I absolutely love Filipino creatures. Coolest fire-based creature? Probably Cert. What are your thoughts on King Midas? I think King Midas is a kind of an idiot, honestly. What's funny about his story is how he says, I want everything I touch to turn to gold. The first thing he does is he touches all the flowers in the garden, which, sure, fine. And then his daughter comes up and she's like, Daddy, I don't like the new flowers because they don't smell good. And she cries. And this dumbass tries to brush her tear off her face and turns her to gold. He's like, oh, wait, I forgot that everything I touch turns to gold. And you know what's funny is in the story, when he sees he just basically killed his daughter, he's like, okay, I need a way to turn her back. But first I'm going to have dinner. That's literally how the story goes. And then this dumbass goes and sits at the table. His chair turns to gold. He's like, ha, everything I touch turns to gold. And then this idiot immediately grabs food and tries to bite it, and it turns to gold. He's like, oh, wait, I forgot. Everything I touch turns to gold. Better drink some wine. Pours it down his throat, and it turns to gold. Oh, wait, I forgot. Everything I touch turns to gold. What? Where are the brain cells, sir? Oh, God. Oh, God. Why must you hurt me in this way? This is about the Persephone thing. Sorry. Are you ever not really sure about a fact and you say it anyway? Look, I'm never 100% certain, but when I get info from at least 2 different sources that say the same thing, I'm certain enough to where I think it's safe to... I can safely put that out and be confident that I'm correct about it. So that's basically my process. Yeah, Midas didn't think things through at all. Agreed. Opinions on Blood of Olympus. Oh, you're talking about the Rick Riordan book? For a second I thought you were talking about Blood of Zeus. I thought Blood of Olympus was really cool. I do wish the battle between everyone, here's a light spoiler for Blood. I'll try not to spoil it too much, but I wish the big battle that happened between the immortal beings had been longer and more eventful. It felt like it was over so fast. Celtic G says, "Can I get a shout out, man?" Okay, shout out to Celtic G. There, I shouted out. What do you want? How was your Asgard Thanksgiving dinner? What's funny? The one thing I didn't finish during the food video yesterday was the goats. I don't know how Thor eats that shit every single day. Hey, Mythology Guy, how do you do? Well, the way I do is by not doing not. And by not doing not, I do. And that's how I do. So there you go. I hope that answers your question. Opinions on Eros. Eros is kind of an asshole until he meets Psyche. Then he becomes... I think, love changes a person. But, up until then, he was willing to shoot people with love arrows just to cause drama. So, yeah. Ouch, my ears. I'm sorry, the guy asked for a shout-out. Howdy to you too, partner. Hello, Baston Purse, it's-a me. Oh, are Baston Purse here? Damn it, I must have missed them. Have you heard about Mesperian? She was a Greek goddess from Tumblr. Got so popular, people started to actually think she was real. I actually did a video about that called Daughters of Hades, and that was the last line of the thing. What about Mysteria? No, that's a fan fiction. Stop passing that off as real myth. Like, I said that in the video a long time ago, Daughters of Hades. Are you going to do a mythology-themed Christmas? Look, if I was rich, sure. But I'm not. So I'm probably just going to have a regular Christmas, but I will do Christmas-themed videos on the channel, because technically stuff like, you know, St. Nicholas and stuff, that does tie into, like, myths and urban legends and stuff. So, you know. I've done Santa and Krampus videos on the channel before. You got me interested in mythology, and I've learned so much from you. Thank you. That's so wonderful to hear. When is the Sea of Monsters review? When it's done. I'm really trying hard to get it done December. Like, I know it's late. I'm sorry. I really want it to be good. How has your day been? Haven't been able to see your Q&As in a while. Well, hopefully you enjoy this one. My day's going pretty well because I like doing this. Who are your favorite Norse mythology characters? I love Loki. He's probably my favorite one. As I've said before, I respect a man who will tie his testicles to a goat just to make a woman laugh. You know, I think that's a very respectable craft. So yeah, he's one of my favorites. Heimdall's also pretty cool. And, I do like Thor a lot. I like his stories and stuff. You know, it makes for some really good stories. Why didn't Freya cry gold in God of War? You know what? Message Santa Monica about that. That's a great freaking point. How do you think the God of War storyline would currently be if Kratos made and his brother made up and his brother lived? You know, that was something that really bummed me out in Ghost of Sparta, was we go through all that shit to save the brother and he's dead in 2 minutes. It's like, what was even the point? Like, is there a god of normalcy? I think there is, but I don't know off the top of my head. The likes and the views are the same. Hey, that's cool. What's your favorite Aztec myth? Ooh, You know, one thing I always found really funny and interesting about Aztec myth is the fact that the gods kept fighting over who got to be the sun god. Like, literally, it went from, like, Tezcatlipoca to Quetzalcoatl to Tlaloc to Calciatlique to Tonatiuh to Huitzilopochtli. It's just, you know, it's amazing. Thoughts on Balbo, the Greek goddess of vaginas? Balbo should hang out with Priapus. You know, I think they would have a great time together. Greek goddess of vaginas. I forgot about her. Which mythology deck will be prioritized after launch? After the beginning decks? Oh, like as in having stuff added to it? Well, it's not like we're not like going out of our way to prioritize one over the other, but I think the first deck that would get something added to it would be Greek, because we do want to expand possibly the Titans into it in the future. So I guess you could say Greek, but that's because that Titans deck would be very different from the base Greek deck, but it would still be Greek. So yeah, you could say Greek. Opinions on Hera yeeting Hephaestus. I always thought that was sad. And you know what's sad is it wasn't even just Hera. Zeus did it first. Or no, Hera did it first and then Zeus did it. Hera did it because she didn't like the ways Hephaestus looked when he was born. And then Zeus did it because Hephaestus sided with Hera in an argument. So it's like you can't... It doesn't matter whose side you take, Hephaestus, they're going to throw you off the mountain. How low-key could Loki go if Loki could go below key? That should be an improv, like, tongue twister. I love that. How low-key could Loki go if Loki could below key? Arthur says I'm being ignored. Aw, by who? Certainly not by me. I just read your comment. Arthur is now dabbing. Why would you do that? Would God of War be more fun if Kratos was the son of a primordial? Oh, you mean like in Greek mythology? Because in Greek mythology, Kratos is the son of Styx. So, yeah. He's the son of a Titan and a Primordial in Greek mythology, so that's why he's the god of power. That honestly makes a lot more sense than his origins in the God of War games, where he's just a demigod. What is the most annoying creature you can think of? The most annoying creature I can think of is people who use Twitter. That creature drives me nuts. Okay, I'm being a little too harsh. People who go on Twitter just to get mad about stuff. Those are the creatures that annoy me. Opinion on Hephaestus himself? I think Hephaestus is it's mostly a very sad story. Some people crap on Hephaestus for that whole Athena thing, but if you look at the whole context behind it, that was actually the other gods messing with Hephaestus even further. But yeah, there is an argument to be made that he's still in the wrong for how he handled it. But Hephaestus also does have a happy ending, which I did a video about. So, in the end, things turned out well. Who would win, Kratos or Percy Jackson? Oh, Kratos. Kratos killed Poseidon. You think Percy Jackson's gonna beat him? Opinions on Kronos. Kronos makes a really cool villain. And one thing that I find interesting about Kronos is this huge debate as to whether Kronos the Titan and Kronos the God of Time are the same guy. What's your opinion on Record of Ragnarok? Watch my discussion video and you'll find out. I recently watched Record of Ragnarok and was stunned by how inaccurate it was. Opinions on it? Again, check out my discussion video and I agree with you. Yuppers says, rooster, 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 rooster. Good luck with that, sir. I'm sure you have a future in Norse mythology writing tales of Ragnarok. By the way, I stopped Ragnarok from happening because I ate the 3 roosters. Nyx versus Erebus. Nyx would win that fight. Bro, I'm starting a new religion, the Church of the Mythology Guy, says Arthur. You wouldn't be the first one, buddy. That happens in pretty much every live Q&A, is the mythology cult. Opinions on Dante's Inferno. It's freaking badass. I've played the video game. That's fun. Why didn't Hera include Hades in her plan to conquer Olympus? Because Hades wouldn't give a shit. That's why. Hades has no interest in Olympus. And he has no interest in overthrowing Zeus, contrary to what every single Hollywood movie says. But Hades wouldn't care. That's why. Coolest helpful creature. I want to say Bess, but he's a god, not a creature. Have you heard of brownies from Celtic mythology? They're like little imps that help out little households, but they're also ugly, so a lot of people misjudge them. But then there are wholesome stories where people welcome them and the brownie is happy, so it makes sure no fairies attack the child when the child is born, you know? Brownies are like little guardians of your house if you're good to them. So, it's cute. What is your Hogwarts house? I'm a Hufflepuff. So am I. I am also a Hufflepuff. Wilda, when she took the test, first she was a Hufflepuff, but then she took it again and she was a Ravenclaw. So she's a Ravenpuff. That's what we call it now. We say she has the mind of a Ravenclaw and the heart of a Hufflepuff. And the spirit of a Gryffindor. And the being done with everyone's shit of a Slytherin. Wilda is basically the chimera of Hogwarts. Yes, Hufflepuff pride. Thanks for answering, God of Myth Knowledge. Also, Kapkan is like the Turkish name for the monster. Romanian word for it is... Okay, so it's pronounced differently. All this is true. I have to take holy water-soaked dagger at night because of the Romanian monsters that live in your neighborhood. Yeah, I don't blame you. Thanks for answering, but I heard they made it so many gods can exist. Okay. Oh, are you talking about Record of Ragnarok? Yeah. Probably. Hey, Cedric Cole, thank you for the $2 donation. Oh, Church of Mythology, hail our guy, all hail. Wow, so, I mean, let it be known you can start a religion for $2. Dagda versus Zeus, who would win? Okay, that's a good question. It's really hard to say, because they both faced overwhelming odds. Zeus facing the Titans, and Dagda facing the Fomorians. Zeus being god of sky and thunder, Dagda being god of life and death. You know, I feel like if Dagda could get close to Zeus, he would win, because Dagda has a staff one end brings death upon touching. But if Zeus is from a distance, Zeus will win, because he'll hit him with his master bolt. And, so yeah, I think that's how you decide who the winner is. Zeus wins from a distance, and Dagda wins close range. That's what I'll say. Strongest Greek gods. Zeus is the strongest Olympian, but stronger than Zeus is Nyx, and stronger than Nyx is Chaos. So there you go. Least favorite god. Xenu from Scientology. Where is the purchase page for the card game? It's not available yet. We obviously don't want you to be able to purchase until we have something to sell you. So, we're not going to pull a scam or an EA. So, when the game's done, we'll have it available for purchase. Chinese dragon versus Western dragon, who would win? Okay, now see, what's hard to answer about that is there's Chinese dragons have multiple kinds of races. Actually, so do Western dragons. So you'd have to be a little specific as to which one you're talking about. Now, if we're saying any Chinese dragon can go up against any Western dragon, then China wins. Because China has a god of dragons, Ao Guang. You're not going to beat the god of dragons with a typical Western dragon. So you'd have to get more specific. Are we talking about Ao Guang, or are we talking about Shenlong, or Jianlong, or Dilong, or Fuzanglong, or Tianlong, or, and which Western dragon are we talking about? Are we talking about Nidhogg? Are we talking about Fafnir? Are we talking about Idrai Gok? Who are we talking about? That's the thing. Flying spaghetti monster. Well, God, that became such a meme. My friend wishes she could be here, but she has ballet. Can you say hi for her? Aw, hello to the girl who is in ballet instead of being here. I highly respect that you are able to do that. If I try to stand on my tippy toes, my tippy toes will break under my weight. Coolest bird-like creature. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to say the feathered serpent from Aztec myth. Them dragons must be long, just like something else, yeah? My friend wishes... Oh, I already read that. Would you rather get an afro or a mullet? Oh, God! Afro or mullet? I feel like if I get an afro, everyone's going to get mad. And if I get a mullet, people are going to get mad for different reasons. I don't want either. I like the messy hair look that I have. That's what I like. Afro or mullet. You know what? I'll just get the mullet and I'll grow out the full stash and we'll see how that works out for a while. Opinion on Pan? Again, very sad story, the story of Pan, but I always really liked Pan, and we've actually revealed Pan on our Instagram page if you're interested in that. Cedric Cole, thanks again for another $2 donation. He says, bang, marry, kill, all mythologies. Okay, marry Hestia, for obvious reasons. Kill. I'd say kill Zeus, but I think the power vacuum that would cause... No, this isn't just Greek mythology. No, if we're gonna kill, let's kill something genuinely evil. Let's maybe kill, Pazuzu from Mesopotamian mythology, or Apophis from Egyptian mythology. Bang. Who can you bang without severe consequences? Who would I be? Freya. I'm sure Freya wouldn't care. What's your favorite type of sweet food, mythology guy? Ooh. I mean, I like cake a lot. Have you ever been to I think it's either Daisy Cakes or Susie Cakes. I think it's Daisy Cakes. Daisy Cakes makes delicious goddamn cakes. But I really like Reese's. Coolest underground creature. Do you mean underworld creature? Because if you're saying that, I know a lot of people might think Cerberus, but I actually think Amit, the Devourer, is a lot cooler than Cerberus. Aubrey says, I'm back. Welcome back. Do you think Kratos will return to Greece to see Rome? That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Would you sleep with Hera or Aphrodite? Oh, God, why... I don't want to die. The thing though, Hera won't sleep with you, like, because she's loyal to Zeus. I don't know. I feel like if you sleep with, I don't want to piss off Zeus. Like, remember what happened to Ixion strapped to the fiery wheel for all eternity? Alright, so I'll go with Aphrodite. It'll probably end with me getting turned into a shellfish, but that's better than a fiery wheel. Zeus in Japan, that would be insane. Opinion on the Epic of Gilgamesh, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. It's the oldest recorded story we have, and it's so cool that we have access to that. Mythology, man, if you had to choose which mythology you would rather live in, Norse or Greek, oh god. That's hard to say, because in Greek, you never know when the gods are going to molest somebody, and in Norse, you know the world's going to end eventually. Let's just go with Norse, you know? At least they have, you know, Valhalla and shit. Would you marry Aphrodite? No, I wouldn't go near Aphrodite. This is way better than studying for my exam tomorrow. Study for your exam tomorrow, dude. What's so scary about Nyx? Well, I think the thing about Nyx is just how incredibly powerful she is. The fact that she's a goddess of night, and she, like, gives birth to some of the most dark, powerful beings in Greek mythology. Typhon and Kronos versus Gaia and Zeus. Ooh, actually, I think Typhon and Kronos would win that. Because Gaia couldn't beat Kronos. Zeus could beat Kronos, but Zeus couldn't beat Typhon on his own. So yeah, Typhon and Kronos would win that. Coolest underwater creature. Cetus is pretty cool. The Kraken is also pretty cool. The Leviathan is also really cool. Scylla, actually. But Scylla's not underwater, even though she's a water being. That's the thing. She resides over the water. That's what's annoying, because I think Scylla is fucking awesome. Charybdis is cool, too. Telkynes are pretty cool. Let's just go with Kelpie. I like Kelpie a lot. Celtic, Mesopotamian, Aboriginal. Will they be in the game? Okay, none of them will be in the game at launch, but if the game succeeds, the first expansion will be Celtic, and I have Mesopotamian on the list for future expansions. Aboriginal isn't planned yet, but it could happen. Kirby versus Cthulhu. Oh my god. Look, unless Kirby can actually open his mouth big enough to eat Cthulhu, Cthulhu is going to win that fight. Opinions on Hecate. People love Hecate. Hecate isn't, like... I don't think Hecate is warrants the high praise she gets, but there's nothing wrong with her either, so it's perfectly fine for people to like her as much as they do. But I know the main reason people like her is just because she's goddess of witchcraft, and there's this huge rise in, like, witch talk and stuff, which I'm not about that, but whatever. You know, if you're having fun and you're not hurting anybody, do whatever you want. That's my opinion. Favorite Percy Jackson character? Percy Jackson. I'm a basic bitch. Permafox Gaming, thank you for the $2 donation. How well do you think I'd do in a mythology class? I don't know you well enough to tell you for sure, but if you've been watching this channel for a while, I hope it'll help you. I haven't checked out your channel for a while. What is this card game thing all about? Oh, someone who doesn't know about the card game. So it's a card game that I made, and Wilda has been invaluable in helping to make a reality. Because I made this card game on my own time several years ago. It's a competitive deck building mythology-based card game, similar to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering, where you play characters from mythology and attack your opponent's characters and kill them. Whenever you kill your opponent's characters, you get points. You get enough points, you win. Every character has a power level and a special ability and an HP level. You can equip your characters with weapons from mythology to make them stronger, or you can place locations from mythology that buff certain guys, or you can strategize with your character's special abilities to win fights, you know. It depends on how you do it. And if you want to learn more about the game, there's a link to our game's website in every single video, and there's also a link to our game's Instagram in every single video. So that's how you learn more about the game. Hey dude, I've been watching your content for a while and I love it, especially like the Percy Jackson movie review. Keep up the good work. I'm so glad you like that. That review was a crap ton of work, and that's why it's taking me a while to make the second one. The first review took me months to make and get up. It really did. So I'm sorry the second one's taking a while. It was supposed to be the 150K special. We're way past that now, and I love you guys so much for that, but I just really want it to be good. So I hope you guys like it when it comes out. Give me earlier access to the game. Look, the game will come out when it's ready to come out, okay? I'm not going to rush it. Goku versus Kronos. I think Goku would win that fight. Is the Blade of Olympus in the game? No, because it's not in Mythology. We're only using stuff that's actually in Mythology in the game. We're not using stuff that was invented for the Percy Jackson series or the God of War series or anything else. We're only using stuff people actually believed was real at some point. Coolest giant creature, Typhon. Typhon all the way. What Native American... Wait, hold on. What Native American tribes do you know? And someone else says, will there be rare cards? Okay, so at launch, since we're going to do a Kickstarter launch, there's not really a way to do rare cards with that. But in the future, if the game is as successful as I want it to be, there will be rare cards. There will be probably like some of the more obscure characters from mythology will be rarer cards. What Native American tribes do I know? Well, there's Cherokee, Iroquois, Navajo... what's that one called? I have a book of it in my room. Shoot, I don't remember the name. It's the one where they believe in all these creatures whose faces they turned into masks. It's so cool, and I can't remember what it's called. Shoot. Darn it. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the Native American tribes off the top of my head. 300K special? I do want to do a 300K special. I want that to be separate from the Sea of Monsters review, though, because I don't want to, be like, the Sea of Monsters review was going to be the 100K special, but we'll just make it the 300K special. No, I think you guys deserve a separate special for that. Barney versus Squidward. I think they just annoy each other with their music. What would you do for a 300K special? Well, if I tell you that now, I spoil the surprise. But I do actually have something in mind. And the second I finish the Sea of Monsters review, I'm going to get cracking on the 300K special, because I think we're going to reach 300K soon, and I really need to get that shit done. Why did Mistletoe kill Norse Dwayne Johnson? I assume you're talking about Boulder. Mistletoe killed him because his mom was kind of dumb. She forced every single living thing and inanimate thing in the world not to ever hurt Balder, to promise not to ever hurt Balder, except Mistletoe, because she thought Mistletoe was harmless. So then Loki, of course, took it as a personal challenge, fashioned it into a dart, and killed him with that. Alright, what's your favorite skit you have done? Oh, that's a good question. I can tell you some of my favorites. I should actually people have been asking me to do a video of my top 10 favorites, because we did a video of Wilda's top 10 favorite sketches, but we should really do one of my top 10 favorite sketches. But for now, I'm gonna say some of my favorites are, I'm really proud of Ixion's Crime. I like that one a lot. And I'm really proud of Leaked Tape of Gaia and Uranus. Those are a couple of my favorites, I can tell you right now. Who do you think is the hottest god? I would say Kagutsuchi, a god who was so hot that the birthing process killed his godly mother. Literally, that is what happened. Coolest house-based creature. Ooh, like I said, I think the brownie is fun. Oh, a house-based creature, Seto Taisho from Japanese mythology. It's a Sukumogami. It's when your dishes merge together into the shape of a warrior. Seto Taisho. I love Seto Taisho. Favorite normal fight in PJO? Probably the in Son of Neptune, when the Romans are playing their war game. That's a pretty cool one. Me versus Zeus, who would win? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go with Zeus on that one. Two last questions about the card game. Can you mix it? mix the mythologies together, and how long do you think it will take to launch? Okay, yes, you may mix the mythologies together. There are two ways to play, two modes. You can play Pantheon mode, which is where each person may only use one mythology, or you can just play free mode, where you may mix as you like, and it's going to make the games a lot more chaotic, but it might be fun. How much is the game? Okay, as I said earlier, we're going to try to do maybe a 2 decks for $20, 4 decks for $40, and all 7 for like $60 if we can. Now, as for when will the game launch, we're aiming for a March launch. If everything goes right, hopefully we'll launch in March. But that is assuming everything goes right, which, hopefully. Is the game like booster packs like Pokemon or more card game like Magic the Gathering? Okay, so the game is going to come out with, in the Kickstarter, the way we're going to launch it is every mythology will have a pre-made deck that's ready for you to use right away, but there will also be extra cards on the side if you want to customize your deck. So you can count like pre-made deck, and then the extra cards are kind of like the booster packs. So it's something like that. Anansi opinion. I love Anansi. I think Anansi is awesome. What's your favorite mythology? Greek. I'm biased because I grew up with it and I know it the best. What's your opinion on Russia and Ukraine fighting? I have no opinion on that. Odin versus Zeus. I feel like Odin could probably out-tactic Zeus, so I think Odin would win that fight. Have you played Hades? Yes, I actually did a video bragging that I got every single achievement in that game, and eventually I'll stream it on the channel. Do you like Abrahamic mythology? I'm Christian, so yeah. Athena versus Zeus. According to the actual lore of mythology, Zeus should still win that fight. Yeah, and besides, she wasn't able to, like, take him down when they tried to overthrow him. So yeah, Zeus would win that fight. Even though I'm sure it would be a really cool fight, but I don't think Athena would win. Chaos versus all the Titans and Olympians. I'm still going to give it to Chaos. I still think he would win. Coolest knight-based creature. Ooh, the Tzitzit from Aztec mythology. I did an art lore about that one. Gmork versus Fenrir. I'm sorry, I don't know who Gmork is, so I can't really give you an answer to that one. What is your absolute favorite all-time myth? The 12 Labors of Heracles. Love it. Exodia-type character, which is the fates from each separate mythology, and you need all major decks to get them, like the fates and the Norns, etc. That's a pretty cool idea, honestly. Overall mythology. Okay, sorry. Chat's going by pretty fast. I wasn't able to finish that. Favorite card art so far? I really like our Hades art, which is visible on the Instagram, and our Yama art, which is visible on the Instagram, and I did an art lore showing the art of him, so you can see it there. Do you know any mythology from the Sri Lanka? Not really, I'm sorry. Kratos versus Thor. Who wins? We'll find out in the next God of War game. Opinions on boogers. Boogers are gross. Don't eat them. I want to learn more about Polynesian myth. As you should. Polynesian myth is really cool. One of the main cool things about it being Maui. Maybe just pick up Jake Jackson's Hawaiian Myths and you'll learn about it. Gmork is the secondary antagonist of a of the German fantasy novel Neverending Story. Okay, well, I haven't read that novel. I saw the movie a long time ago. I don't really remember how Gmork is in that. What god would you be? As I said before, I'd want to be like a god of people having a good time. That's the kind of god I would want to be. So something like Dionysus. Really? I never really liked the 12 Labors of Heracles. Well, that surprises me. I love the 12 Labors of Heracles. I love your Momotaro pun. Thank you. Can I have a shout out? I have to go soon. Okay, Jesse B. Adams, here is your shout out! Hope you like that. Overall mythology trickster king, in your opinion. Who's the best trickster? Okay, so a lot of people might think I give that to Loki, and Loki's definitely up there, but I'm going to give it to Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong was able to outwit the god of the underworld and all of his protectors and guardians and warriors. And Sun Wukong literally tricked his way into immortality. That's amazing. So I'm going to give it to Sun Wukong. Scariest god, in your opinion? Probably Pazuzu. Yeah. Have you heard about the game Raiji? You're talking about the Hindu game, Raiji, an Ancient Epic. I actually own that game. I haven't played it yet. Why am I pointing this way? It's here on my computer. I haven't played it yet because I want to stream it for you guys. I want to get my raw reaction. Can I get a Mythology Poggers? I don't know, maybe. Jesse B, I gave you a shout out earlier. Favorite mythological book? Dowleri's Greek Myths. Well, if we're talking as a source for knowledge. But if we're talking as just a fun fantasy story, then the Percy Jackson series. Last Olympian. How long does it take to make the average short? Oh, it varies. They typically take about an hour to make at least. Unless it's a pun, then it usually takes about 10 minutes. If we're including the amount of time it takes to think of and plan out the short, it could take about 2 hours at least, usually. Yeah. Making the short typically takes an hour because, it's not like I do it all in one take. And yeah, I really want the shorts to come out well, especially because I kind of cringe at some of my earlier ones. Even though I'm still proud of them, I look at them and I'm like, I could have done this a lot better. So nowadays, I really want to try to get everyone right. There's so many spammers. How are you keeping up? Love your vids, though. Thanks, man. That is so sweet to hear. Thank you. Yeah, well, people... fortunately, the spamming's not too bad, in my opinion, so yeah. Carter Star says, I have to go by. Thank you so much for being here, Carter. Great to have you here. Doom Guy versus Kratos. That's a fight I'd love to see, but I still think Kratos would win that. Will there be Polynesian mythology in the game? If the game succeeds, it's planned to be one of the early expansions. Cats or dogs? My favorite are cats. My favorite are dogs. I love cats, though. Don't get me wrong. I used to have a cat. I am also allergic to them, but I still love them. Best war-related god. Technically, all of the Aesir are war-related, but let's just go with ones that are more specifically war-related. Tyr is really great. Liu of the Long Arm is also really cool. I'm just gonna say Huitzilopochtli. He's fucking awesome. He's terrifying, but he's awesome. How accurate do you think Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla were? I haven't played those two yet. I've only played Origins, which was, whenever it referenced Egyptian culture, it was really awesome and spot on. So I'm expecting Odyssey and Valhalla to be good too. Favorite Percy Jackson character? Percy Jackson. Who is the scariest game in all of mythology, in your opinion? What do you mean game? Are you just saying character? If we're talking about scariest characters, there's a mix of terrifying characters in Aztec myth and in Japanese myth. One myth that was so fucked up, I was like, whoa, was the tale of Juan Yudo, the face on the flaming wheel that bit the legs off a baby in the blink of an eye. Ezio versus Bayek. I like Ezio way better, honestly, than Bayek. Ezio is way more interesting. What's your favorite game of all time? Kingdom Hearts 2. I love that game so much. Kingdom Hearts 3 I still like, but I think it could have been a lot better. I was a little disappointed. Best book to learn about Mesoamerican mythology. There are some really good books. My first Mesoamerican mythology book was actually Horrible Histories, The Angry Aztecs. But there's also some very good books by Jake Jackson and Matt Clayton that cover Mesoamerican mythology. So I'd say read a mix. Read a mix. Are golems in the game? No, because we don't have that mythology in the game yet. But I would like to eventually put them in. Worst mythology movie. Oh, now we're in for it. Worst mythology movie. That's tough. It could be... I'll just give you some of the tops. There's Sea of Monsters, Gods of Egypt, and maybe Hercules in New York. Yes, that's a movie. Opinion on the Tam Lin story. I was actually kind of disappointed with the ending of the that's not Tam Lin, that's Tamamizu. The Tam Lin story is pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, I did a video about Tam Lin. Sorry, I mixed up Tam Lin with Tamamizu for a second. That's the story that disappointed. Favorite Disney movie? Hercules. Come on, you know me. You know who I am. No, but yeah, Hercules is my favorite Disney movie. My second favorite Disney movie is Pirates of the Caribbean. How do you think... hold on. Okay, crap. I lost that comment I was reading. I already answered the Tamlin thing. Also, Yeeter, please don't ask the same question 17 times in a row. That's not really fair to the other commenters. What god would I do the journey with? Hestia. Because Hestia is bestia. Yeah. Please stop spamming the chat. Give me your hair so I can sacrifice it to the sun god. No! My hair is the sun god. Ganesha versus Shiva. Who would win? Oh, wait, no. Then you have a head upside down. Yeah, you're right. Because Shiva literally killed Ganesha by decapitating him. Have you played Skyrim? I actually haven't, but I plan to eventually play it on the channel. I've played Elder Scrolls Online, though. I'm Brazilian, and I want to know who is your favorite Brazilian folklore character. Ooh, I think the pink dolphin's kind of hilarious, but I honestly, right now it might be the Curupira. I just love how unique it is with the backwards feet. And, it's a guardian of the forest, so I can respect that. One of my favorites, though, also is the headless mule, just for how weird it is, Ares deserves better. I think he gets more hate than he deserves, but he's not the best guy either. I love your shorts. Thank you. Thank you very much. How do you think... Oh, this is what I was trying to read earlier. How do you think the Hindu god sees people scamming in India? Oh, yeah. I wish the Hindu gods would get involved in that. I absolutely hate scammers, honestly. I think scammers are some of the most garbage people on the planet. I swear to God, I just saw a white figure move behind you. What the actual fudge nuggets? Alright, well, I guess this is the last video I'm doing then. Bye, guys. Which god could Link kill? I'd have to see him go up against some to be sure about that. I mean, did Link ever fight any actual gods in the Legend of Zelda games? Coolest impersonator creature. Ooh. I think the Nahual in Aztec mythology is really cool. And, let's just go with the Nahual. And the Kitsune. That's another one. Do you prefer polytheistic mythologies or monotheistic mythologies? Okay, well, I am Christian, so I personally believe in monotheistic mythology. I think for, though, enjoying it as a hobby, polytheism is a lot more fun. Obviously, it's cool to have all these different gods. Where do you get your books? Oh, a million different, sources. I used to get all my books at Borders, but now Borders is gone, and that makes me very sad. There was another bookstore I used to go to called Walden Books, but now that store is shut down too, and that makes me very sad. So I get a lot of my books from a bookstore in a market area near my house. It's not a chain. And I'm not going to say exactly where it is, what the store is called, because I don't really want people to know where I live. But yeah, and I get most of my books from either there or Barnes & Noble or from Amazon.com. Nowadays, that's where I get them. But I used to get everything at Borders or Walden Books, but both of those stores are gone now. Kratos is the god of strength in one version. Yeah, I think I prefer to refer to him as god of power, though, because then Heracles is also god of strength, so it's good to set them apart a little. What made you get into mythology? My mom used to read me Dow Larry's Greek Myths when I was 3 years old. That's what got me into it. I'm a go. Can you yell shout out? Okay, Elias McCollum, shout out! There you go. The coolest music-based creature. What's a good music-based creature? I can give you several music-based gods, but music-based creature. I mean, you could kind of count the Maenads because of their partying. What's a good music-based creature? Actually having... I mean, the sirens, those count. That's music. I don't know which would be the coolest, though. I don't know. I'm going to have to pocket that. You watch anime? Yeah, we talked about anime a little earlier. Which is the most overrated and underrated Greek god in your opinion? Well, obviously the most underrated god is Diomedes, the Lord of Beans. Hello. And the most overrated god is... it's either Aphrodite or Hecate. The thing is, though, there's nothing wrong with Hecate. It's just people praise the shit out of her, and I'm not entirely sure why. Well, actually, I am sure why. It's because of the witchcraft thing, but yeah. I'm going to say Aphrodite, because Aphrodite does a ton of horrible shit, and yet There are so many people who, for some reason, think she's the sweetest woman ever. I don't know why people think that. Will there be Celtic mythology in the card game? All right, well, I touched on this earlier. If the game succeeds, Celtic will be the first expansion, because I've actually already made a Celtic deck, but only the test play version. We don't have, officially made artwork and everything for it yet. So if you want to see Celtic, pick up the game, help it be successful, and we'll add Celtic to the game. I can't wait to add more to the game, honestly. Check out Rock of Ages. It's about Greek mythology, and it's pretty fun. Really? I thought Rock of Ages was a musical about 70s rock. Maybe there's two different things. Who do you think is smarter, Jason or Leo Valdez? Leo Valdez, for sure. What do you think about Ireland? I love Ireland. I've been there. Everyone is so friendly. It's such a great place. The most underrated god has to be Momus. Yeah, that's another one. Do you prefer Genesis or Exodus? I don't really have a preference. Yeah, maybe Exodus. Let's just say that. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, Sonic Force. And Sonic Force says, you are awesome. Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome. Kratos and Atreus versus Mother Miranda. I'm going to give that one to Kratos and Atreus. I'm Irish. Well, way to go, Arthur. I should know a guy named Arthur would be Celtic. Do you know the origins of real fairies? Are you talking about the Celtic fairies? Because if so, yeah, that's it. They come from Celtic myth. What do you think about Ireland, Israel, and Palestine? I don't really have an opinion on Israel and Palestine. I've never been. Okay, the white figure was low camera quality. Okay, well, there you go. That's what the white figure wants you to think. Lord Palpatine versus any god. I don't think Palpatine can beat the actual gods. How do you like Persian mythology? It's cool, yeah, from what I've read so far. Coolest lazy creature. Skrymir from Norse mythology. The giant who's just always sleeping, and when Thor tries to hit him in the head, it does nothing, and then it's revealed that he was tricked with illusions. I like that. Okay, I don't have an opinion on Israel. Will there be Islam mythology? I don't know, maybe someday. I know a lot of people are really sensitive about Islamic stuff, though, so it's hard to say. Hey, Jesse B is back. Welcome back. Oh, man, we've been going for an hour and a half already? Oh, that was fast. Okay. Cucullin versus Jesus. Jesus isn't going to fight. The thing is, you can't really weigh how Jesus would do in a fight because he would never fight anybody unless they build a market in his church. Nico and Will versus Magnus and Alex. Which is better in your opinion? I was never really interested in either of those couples all that much. Maybe it's just because I can't relate to them, but I never had a problem with them either. I mean, Alex is a more interesting... No, Nico is a more interesting character than... I guess out of all of them, I like Nico as a character most, so I'll just give it to that one. Do you think Thor is real? I personally do not, but, we'll see. Who is the most craziest creature so far? Oh, God, it's hard to say. One of them is definitely the Akaname from Japanese myth. Oh, surprise, it's a Japanese creature. The creature that licks up waste in the bathroom. Disgusting. Oh, why did I stick out my tongue when I said that? Ew. Ew, 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 ew. But yeah, that's definitely one of the weirdest ones. Coolest attic living creature. You guys are really specifying on the creatures. Tsukumogami, probably. Tsukumogami live in the attic sometimes. You versus you. I think I would win that one. What's your favorite demon in Journey to the West? Ooh, I really like the other monkeys, honestly. Like the six-eared macaque and the long-armed monkey and the red-bottomed monkey. Do those count as demons, though? Those are other monkeys. I'm not sure. Sha Wu Jing is technically a demon, so we can say him. Do you know the Bake Kujira? It's a giant whale demon. Yes, I do know the Bake Kujira, and it's going to be in the game at launch. Oh, we should reveal that sometime soon. Will Jesus be in the game? No, he will not. I'm not planning on really doing Abrahamic mythology in the game because the game is highly built around polytheism. So, and since Abrahamic only has one god, that wouldn't really work with the other mythologies. Njord versus Poseidon. Go. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I wonder which one of them would be more powerful. I'm going to say Poseidon because Poseidon I do think might have more raw power, and he has a weapon. He has the trident. Njord doesn't have something like that. I'm going to go with Poseidon. I think Poseidon might win that one. Can I have some wisdom with Mimir? Okay, here's a wisdom with Mimir. Teachers who brag that their class has a low graduation rate are idiots. Your job is to teach students. If most of your students are failing, it means you suck at your job. There's a wisdom with Mimir. Early peek at what'll probably be a future video. Strongest monster in mythology. It's probably Typhon. I would probably say Typhon. Coolest basement-dwelling creature. That would still apply to Tsukumogami, honestly. Lemon pie versus lime pie. Lemon. Nico versus Alex. Who would win in a fight? I think Alex would win in that fight, honestly. Alex is quite a fighter. What do you think about skinwalkers? Oh, that's another impersonator character. Ooh, I should have mentioned them in the impersonator question. I think skinwalkers are cool, and I think they have a really cool, creepy name. I think that's... One of my favorite things about them is actually their name. Coolest bathroom creature? Okay, the only bathroom creatures I know about are really gross. I wouldn't consider any of them cool. Is Hypnos trans? No, Hypnos is not trans. There's nothing saying that he is. Can you explain the Manananggal from Filipino mythology? I explained it in Crazy Creatures Manananggal. Just watch that. Are you a history teacher? No, I'm not, but that would be cool. Thoughts on Magnus Chase? Highly enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the first book the best out of the three. I actually thought they got a little less good as they went on. Any trans gods? Closest thing would be Hermaphroditus. Hermaphroditus is both genders, though it was originally just a guy, and then just watch my video fun fact about Hermaphroditus and you'll see what I'm talking about. Most manipulative person in Greek mythology. Most manipulative. A lot of the female gods get pretty damn manipulative. Hera is manipulative. Aphrodite is manipulative. Even Athena is manipulative. I'll put Hera and Aphrodite above Athena, though, when it comes to manipulation. I'll just say Aphrodite, because love is a powerful thing. Loki is also gender fluid. If you think he is cool, I think you could argue either side on that, but, it's not really a hill that matters enough to die on. So if you think he is cool, I can easily see him being interpreted that way. Oni versus Beelzebub. Well, Beelzebub would be way more powerful than an Oni, because an Oni is a common creature, whereas Beelzebub is a deity. So yeah, Beelzebub will win that fight. Cheese versus chocolate. Chocolate all day. Perseus versus Zeus. Perseus is a demigod, not a full god. Zeus would win that fight. Thoughts on Kane Chronicles? Highly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Percy Jackson series more, but Kane Chronicles was still fun. Greatest Greek hero? Heracles. Aphrodite can also speak people into war. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I gave her the highest manipulation. Music Lover, thank you for the $5 donation. Have you seen the video essay on how God of War stays faithful to Norse mythology in its own way? What are your own thoughts? Are you talking about the essay on how they successfully removed Loki from Norse mythology in a way that still made Norse mythology work? Because I really liked that video. And if you're talking about a different video, just link it to me and I'll check that video out. But thank you for the donation. Thank you so much. What music does Apollo listen to? Ram Ranch. I could easily see Apollo being like a modern rock fan. That seems right up his alley. Who is stronger, Jesus or the God Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40k? I'm just going to say Jesus, because I think all of the powers of God himself flow through him. Who is Anubis' real father? I go by the whole Set being his father thing. There are some versions that say it's Osiris, but I think Set makes a lot more sense. Can I get one of your famous heys? Alright, I just did. There you go. What genre of music do you think Kratos would listen to? You know, easy answers are stuff like heavy metal or something. But the truth is, I think Kratos really, at the end of the day, just wanted a decent life. So I think he would just listen to, you know, relaxing, standard, you know, Greek bard music, maybe. But not like annoying bard music. If someone annoyed him, he'd grab him by the throat and toss him. If you could embody any creature or god, what would you choose? As I said, I would want Dionysus's powers because I'd want the power to give people a good time. Boredom's Aftermath, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Most terrifying god in all mythology. I went over this a bit. I think it might be Pazuzu, personally. Who is the coolest angel? For me, it's Azrael. I think Azrael is cool. If you put every creature from all myths in a fighting tournament, who would win? I personally think Typhon would win that. Either Typhon... No, Apophis would win that, because Apophis can eat the sun. Sorry, yeah. Apophis is the most powerful monster in mythology. Arthur says, I still don't understand why mistletoe was the only thing that could kill Balder. Well, I told you earlier. It's because, like, it's because it was the only thing that promised it wouldn't kill Balder. That didn't promise it wouldn't kill Balder. What's my favorite meme? You know, that changes all the time. That's a question with a lot of answers. Mega Man Land Prime, thank you for that $5 donation. That's so sweet of you. Have you watched Don Machi? If so, who would win, Percy Jackson or Bel Crannel? I haven't watched Don Machi yet. People keep requesting it, so I am going to try to check it out. Sandman by Neil Gaiman was fantastic. Cool. Yeah, people have told me there's some mythical stuff in it, so I do need to check that out. And I have a lot of respect for Neil Gaiman. He's a great writer. Pazuzu versus Nyx. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Probably Nyx. I think Nyx might have more raw power than Pazuzu. Kindest god in mythology. Hello, Hestia is Bestia. But it's between Hestia and Bess. Because Hestia is Bestia, but Bess is best. So it's one of them. Why was Odin not supposed to spill Loki's blood? Well, he promised he wouldn't when they met. It was part of their, like, pact when he welcomed him into his family. But he broke that oath. You know, he killed Loki's child. That's spilling his blood. And then later at Ragnarok, you know, he'll fight Fenrir. So it's like, yeah. If Kratos was evil, how bad would this turn out? Oh, horribly. Everything would be gone. What goddess has Zeus not screwed? Amazingly, Aphrodite. Zeus and Aphrodite never hooked up. Coolest Witcher enemy? You know, I've only played through the first part of Witcher 3. Like, I got to killing the Griffin. And then there was so much, like, talking and lore that I didn't know because I didn't play the first two games. Even though I watched catch-up videos on them, I kind of stopped there. I'm not saying I won't pick it back up, but I was having a lot of trouble following what was going on, so I just took a break from it. I can't support this channel because I don't have money. Sorry. You support this channel just by being a fan of it. Thank you for that. If Greek mythology didn't exist, what would be your favorite mythology? Japanese. I love how crazy Japanese is. Amaterasu versus Huitzilopochtli. I think Huitzilopochtli would win that. Amaterasu isn't much of a fighter, to be honest. When Susanoo went nuts and started attacking, she just ran away. So while I love Amaterasu and think she's awesome, she's really not much of a fighter. Whereas Huitzilopochtli, like, took down his whole army of siblings. Like, so yeah. Thoughts on Leo Valdez? I love him. He's one of my favorite characters in the PJO. Boredom's Aftermath, thank you again for another $5 donation. In your opinion, is Thanatos a necessary presence in Greek mythology? He's my favorite god due to his character. I love Thanatos a ton. Technically, he's not necessary because we have Hades and we have Hermes transporting the dead also. But I think Thanatos still adds a lot. Thanatos is very similar to Azrael, honestly. And I like to think that both Thanatos and Hermes both transport the dead because one guy couldn't possibly do it all by himself. So that's how I like to think of it. And yeah, while Hades runs the underworld, he doesn't also want to have to go fetch the souls, so Thanatos is good for that too. So I don't think he's necessary, but I think he adds a lot to it. Artemis versus Tsukuyomi. I think Artemis would win that fight. Good sources to learn about Japanese mythology. Okay, now, I personally went to the Jake Jackson book, and then there was another book. Here, I'm going to do a quick search to remind myself who wrote this one. Japanese mythology book. What was who was the writer of the book? Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a much shorter book, but it still covers some good stuff. There's a Japanese mythology book by Scott Lewis. That was the first one I read. Then I read the Jake Jackson book. Then I read like this book of Japanese fairy tales. And then one of my favorite sources for Japanese mythology is yokai.com. They cover just about every yokai. They are fantastic. They've also officially made 3 whole books you can purchase. I can't recommend yokai.com enough. They're great. I already told you, if Greek mythology didn't exist, my favorite would be Japanese mythology. What does Anubis do when he's not judging the dead? He probably hangs out with Osiris, or hangs out with his wife Anput, or takes care of his pet Ammon. Charisma 420, thank you so much for that $7 Canadian dollar donation. Thank you for making my YouTube shorts not boring. Well, you're welcome. I'm very glad you like them. If you wrote a book about a mythology war, who would you kill off? Oh, I actually thought of writing a story like that a long time ago, and I would kill off a whole lot of characters, but I don't want to list them here just in case I ever do actually write that story. I don't want to spoil it. Music Lover, thank you for another $5 donation. The video essay on how they successfully removed Loki from mythology is what I meant exactly. Okay. May I know your full thoughts? Pretty please. Well, thank you so much for the donation. I'm glad to see that is what you meant. I thought that video was great. I thought it was very in-depth. I thought it covered things really well. And it was really fun to listen to. Especially because it's something that you don't really think about until the end of the game, where you're like, oh yeah, they technically didn't mention Loki in any of the stories, but yet how did they manage to remove him? So it was really cool to see a video essay going over all of that. Yeah, so I really like that video. Do you play the game series Monster Hunter? If so, what do you think about the yokai-based monsters? Oh, there are yokai-based monsters in Monster Hunter Rise? Okay, I haven't played Monster Hunter, but now that I know there's yokai in one of them, I think I'll stream it eventually. Did Amano Uzumi save the world? Yes. She saved the world by strip dancing and getting Amaterasu to come out of the cave and stop being a total selfish bitch. I like Amaterasu, but she was being a selfish bitch. The best game of mythology is God of War. I can understand thinking that. My personal favorite is Age of Mythology. What's a yokai? Yokai is any Japanese monster. That's their word for mythical monsters. Are yokai the same as oni? Oni are like a type of yokai, basically. So, kinda. Halloween Kills sucks. I agree with you. Check out my rant video about it. Why do you always touch your hair? It's a habit, and it's also to get it out of my face. See, look, right now it's getting in my eye. So I'm doing that to get it out of my eye, or I'm doing that to get it out of my eye, or I'm doing that to get it out of my eye. I'm usually doing it to get it out of my eye. Do you think you'll ever do a video on the Scottish Balban Seath or the Bean... Neek. I actually don't know about that second one, but yeah, I've done some Scottish videos, and I'll surely do more. I really love Scottish mythology and stuff, so I don't see why I wouldn't do more Scottish videos. Okay, it's we're coming in on 2 hours, so I am going to wrap it up soon, but I am going to try to power through any remaining questions. Are we going to get Babylonia in the game? If the game is successful, nothing is off the table, so eventually, possibly, yes. I learned more from you than a whole year of studying mythology in my school. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you to say. There are yokai-based monsters in Rise. It's a Western mythology-based expansion too. Awesome. Have you seen the channel Gaijin Goomba? I have not. I'm asking, what's his favorite mythology? I already answered that one. Jormungandr versus Slytherin's Basilisk. Jormungandr would win that, no problem. He can wrap himself around the whole world. Favorite subject when you were in school? Acting. I had fun with that. Halloween Kills makes me want to do the second word in the title to myself. Oh dear. Boredom's Aftermath, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Do you enjoy mythologies that view gods as perfect beings or as flawed characters that make them more human? I enjoy both. But I don't think any mythological god has been perfect. Some people say Christian mythology is boring because God is perfect, but I don't think he is perfect. He's done some stuff in the Old Testament that I'm sure he regrets, so I don't think technically any god is ever fully portrayed as perfect. Pseudonym says, just came back to the stream and the first thing I hear is she saved the world by strip dancing. Ha! That's hilarious. What do you think is the scariest yokai? I think one of them is definitely Wan Yudo because he bit the legs off a baby in the blink of an eye. That's horrifying. I'm writing about a book about the gods going to high school together. That sounds awesome. I think there's some stories kind of like that, like God School. Most overrated Percy Jackson character. Who's the most overrated Percy Jackson character? I don't know that any of the characters are really overrated. I know Nico gets a crap ton of love. Maybe Nico gets a little more love than he deserves, but he's still awesome. So I guess I'll just default to that. Favorite creature from any mythology? One of them is... I really like chimera creatures. I really like hybrid monsters. So I'll just say the chimera is one of my favorites. Coolest not a deer story. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you mean by not a deer story. Typhon versus Nyx. I think Nyx would win that probably because Nyx is so much bigger. Then again, all the gods put together could barely beat Typhon. It would be a really interesting fight. We'll see what happens. No, we won't actually, but it would be cool to see what happens. What is your weirdest school story? I actually once corrected my teacher in a mythology class. I actually did. My teacher thought I wasn't paying attention, and in her defense, I wasn't. But I really didn't like this teacher. She had been an English teacher, and then we transitioned into mythology. And she was like, Andrew, Greek mythology is important. And she was like, you may not think Greek mythology is important, but it is. And I was like, I know, because I had been studying Greek mythology since I was 3. And I was, I think I was 14 or 15 at this time. And I was like, yeah, I know Greek mythology. And she said, oh, you do you? Can you name all 12 Olympian gods? And I said, there are 14. And then the look on her face when I said that. And then I named all 14 of them, and she just went, sit down. That was one of the funnest moments of my life. Most underrated Percy Jackson character. Beckendorf is cool. It's hard to say underrated because the Percy Jackson characters get so much love, but I'll just say Beckendorf, I guess. What about the most powerful witch or enchantress from any mythology excluding Morgan Le Fay? It's probably Medea or Circe. Yeah, probably one of them. What can you tell me about Hecate? I can tell you that her pets used to be people. How about that? Check out my video, What You Might Not Know About Hecate, if you want to learn more about that. Do we count Star Wars and Lord of the Rings as mythology? I don't think we would say... Andrew is my name, Arthur. I don't think we can count Star Wars as mythology, but Lord of the Rings is literally based on Norse myth, so you could count it if you wanted to. Favorite god from Egyptian mythology? Anubis. I have a statue of him in my room. I love him. Favorite living room creature? I really like Tsukumogami, as I keep saying, and those are basically living room creatures. I told you, Jormungandr would beat Slytherin's Basilisk easily. Blockhead says, I'm sorry I have to go now. Goodbye, Blockhead, and I have to go now, too. It has been almost 2 hours. I have absolutely loved having you guys all here. Thank you so much for joining me for this live. We do this every single month. I'm sorry Wilda couldn't be in this one, but, she was in part of the video with me yesterday. Hope you guys had a lot of fun watching this. I had a lot of fun doing it, and you guys are the absolute best. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.